The world watches with bated breath. Food security, a fundamental pillar of global stability, hangs in the balance. Conflicts, climate change, and economic uncertainty have cast long shadows over our ability to feed a growing population. Traditional food supply chains are strained, prices are volatile. The need for a solution, a new path forward, is more urgent than ever. Into this arena steps Russia, a major player on the global agricultural stage. Their proposal? A BRICS Grain Exchange? This initiative, if realized, has the potential to reshape the very fabric of global food trade. It is a bold move, one that has sent ripples of anticipation and apprehension across the world. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, represent a formidable force. Together, they hold significant sway over global agriculture, possessing vast arable land and a substantial share of global grain production. Their collective influence cannot be ignored. The proposed BRICS Grain Exchange represents a direct challenge to the existing order, a system often perceived as favoring Western nations. It is a power play with enormous implications for every corner of the globe. The stakes are high, and the outcome remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: the future of food security may very well hinge on the success or failure of this ambitious endeavor. The world is changing. The balance of power is shifting. Emerging economies are asserting their presence on the global stage. Among them, the BRICS nations stand out. This alliance of 5 diverse nations has emerged as a potent economic force, challenging the traditional dominance of the West. Brazil, with its vast agricultural lands, is a breadbasket for the world. Russia, a powerhouse in wheat production, holds significant sway over global grain markets. India, home to a burgeoning population, is a major consumer and producer of rice. China, an economic giant, exerts significant influence over global commodity markets. And South Africa, a key player on the African continent, plays a crucial role in regional food security. These nations, once viewed as developing economies, have undergone remarkable transformations. Their economies have surged, their industries have expanded, and their influence has grown exponentially. Today they stand as equals on the world stage, demanding a greater voice in global affairs. The global grain trade, a complex web of interconnected markets, has long been dominated by a select few. Western nations, with their established infrastructure and financial clout, have held sway over the flow of grain from producers to consumers. But the winds of change are blowing. The BRICS nations, with their growing economic might and shared vision for a more equitable world order, are seeking to reshape this system. Their proposal for a BRICS Grain Exchange represents a bold step towards challenging the status quo. This new exchange, if established, would provide a platform for BRICS nations to trade grain amongst themselves, bypassing traditional intermediaries and potentially reducing their reliance on Western-dominated markets. It would give them greater control over pricing, supply chains, and ultimately, their own food security. Imagine a bustling marketplace, but instead of colorful fabrics and spices, it's overflowing with grains. Wheat, rice, corn, the staples of life, are traded with a new sense of urgency and purpose. This is the vision behind the BRICS Grain Exchange, a proposed platform designed to revolutionize the global food trade. The mechanics are simple yet powerful. BRICS nations, armed with their surplus grain production, would engage in direct trade with each other. This eliminates the middlemen, reducing costs and streamlining the supply chain. Prices would be determined through negotiations among participating nations, potentially leading to more stable and predictable markets. But it's more than just a trading platform. The BRICS Grain Exchange represents a shift in power dynamics. It's a statement of intent from these emerging economies. They are no longer content with playing by the old rules. They seek to establish their own systems, ones that better reflect their interests and priorities. A seat at the table. BRICS growing influence. The BRICS nations are acutely aware of their growing influence. They see the proposed grain exchange as more than just a means to secure their own food supplies. It's a strategic move to solidify their position on the global stage. By establishing a parallel system for grain trade, they challenge the existing order, one often perceived as favoring Western nations. This bold move sends a clear message. The BRICS bloc is a force to be reckoned with. The potential impact extends beyond grain. The success of the exchange could pave the way for similar initiatives in other sectors, further challenging Western dominance in global trade and finance. The implications are far-reaching, potentially leading to a more multipolar world order. Challenging the status quo. The proposed BRICS Grain Exchange has sent ripples of unease through established global institutions. The current system, dominated by Western nations and multinational corporations, faces a direct challenge to its authority. For decades, these entities have controlled the flow of grain, setting prices and dictating terms to both producers and consumers. The BRICS initiative threatens to disrupt this established order, potentially diminishing their influence and profits. The reaction from these stakeholders has been mixed. Some dismiss it as a political maneuver with little chance of success. Others express cautious curiosity, acknowledging the shifting power dynamics. A few, however, view it as a direct threat, a challenge to be countered at all costs. A new world order in grain. The BRICS Grain Exchange, if successful, has the potential to reshape the global food system. It could usher in a new era of multipolarity, where power is more evenly distributed among nations. This shift could have profound implications for developing countries, particularly in Africa and Asia, which rely heavily on grain imports. The exchange could provide them with alternative sources of supply, potentially at more favorable terms, enhancing their food security and economic prospects. However, such a dramatic shift in the global food order is unlikely to happen overnight. Resistance from established players, logistical challenges, and the complexities of international trade will all present significant hurdles. Winners and losers. Who benefits? The potential winners in this new system are clear: the BRICS nations themselves. By circumventing traditional grain trading channels, they stand to gain greater control over their food security, potentially reducing costs and enhancing their negotiating power. Developing countries heavily reliant on grain imports could also benefit from increased competition and potentially more favorable trading terms. This could translate into greater food security and economic stability. However, there will also be losers. Western agricultural giants, accustomed to dominating the global market, may face stiffer competition and reduced profits. Existing trading platforms and financial institutions could see their influence diminish as new players emerge. A Western perspective, concerns and apprehensions. The West watches the BRICS Grain Exchange initiative with a mixture of skepticism and apprehension. Some see it as a direct challenge to their long-held dominance in global food markets. Concerns abound about the potential for market fragmentation, price volatility, and geopolitical tensions. There are fears that the BRICS nations could use the exchange as a tool to exert political pressure, potentially disrupting supplies to nations not aligned with their interests. The lack of transparency in the proposed system raises concerns about potential for manipulation and unfair trading practices. The West argues that the existing global food system, while not perfect, has proven largely successful in ensuring global food security. They caution against radical changes that could disrupt established mechanisms and lead to unintended consequences. The uncertain future of food. The emergence of the BRICS Grain Exchange marks a pivotal moment in the evolution of the global food system. It represents a potential power shift, a challenge to the established order, and a source of both hope and uncertainty. Will it usher in an era of greater food security and fairer trade, or will it lead to fragmentation, instability, and geopolitical tensions? The answer remains unclear. The success or failure of this ambitious endeavor hinges on a multitude of factors. The BRICS nations will need to overcome logistical challenges, ensure transparency, and build trust with potential partners. The West will need to adapt to the changing landscape, embracing cooperation over confrontation where possible. A new era of cooperation or competition. The world watches with bated breath. The BRICS Grain Exchange, a bold vision for the future of food, hangs in the balance. Will it spark a new era of cooperation or ignite the flames of competition? The answer, as with most things in the complex world of global trade, is rarely simple. It lies somewhere between those two extremes. There is potential for both collaboration and rivalry, for shared prosperity and heightened tensions. One thing is certain: the future of food security hinges on the choices we make today. If nations prioritize dialogue, transparency, and mutual benefit, The BRICS Grain Exchange could become a force for good, enhancing food security and fostering a more equitable global order. However, if narrow self-interest, mistrust, and protectionist policies prevail, the initiative could exacerbate existing tensions, leading to further fragmentation and instability in the global food system. The path forward is fraught with challenges, but also pregnant with possibilities. The stakes are high, and the world is watching. The future of food, it seems, is up for grabs.